growing up, it was all about having a house, the dog, and the wife, right? Picket fence and all that stuff that we used to talk about back in the hood. You know what I mean? What I used to hear my OGs and my pops talk about, having. And I had gotten to a point in life where I was there, had a good job, had a stable place to live, had a good female, got my dog, you feel me? But something in me just still didn't feel right. Like when I got the vision, it was either I could stay where I'm at, be comfortable inside this house, have the woman, have this job and continue being the great AP that I am, or I could take a path that would allow me to make it easier for people that's coming from behind me. Now that is something that struck me like quick. And so I said, I'm rolling with that one. I'm rolling with the blue pill. The red pill was staying where I was at Target. The blue pill was doing something that was greater than me, something that's bigger than me, something above my pay grade. You feel me? After everything that I done seen in the workplace, everything that I experienced, everything that I witnessed in life, growing up in the system, raised by the system. And then when you raised by the system, you start to see things. You start to pick up on how they move and how they use their words and how certain verbiage is used in reports. And when you get into this AP world, it starts to wake you up a little bit. And now you're on the other side of the ball. Now you're the one prosecuting people. Now you're the one writing reports. And now you start to understand how they're able to get away with a lot of things and how they're able to word certain things and how it's able to stick in court, and how systemic racism is being used to other people's advantages and companies and corporations' advantages, and how a lot of people are being held back from opportunity because of their color of their skin. And so when I took the blue pill, I started thinking about Martin Luther King Jr. and Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner and all these great legends who had did all of these things to make history. And is the reason why I'm here today talking to y'all on this camera. Without their sacrifices, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to do the things that we do had it not been for what they've done and the impact they've had. And so when I got the vision to do what needed to be done to create a better path for the people who look like me, so it would be easier for the ones coming from behind me, so they wouldn't have to experience the things that we go through in the workplace, a better place for them, better opportunity roles and leadership roles for them. It was a no-brainer. It was never about money. See, I wanted the company, the corporation, to think it was about money, so I could keep continuing doing what I was needed to do, so I can have the greater impact that needed to happen. You feel me? So when God gave me this vision, it was never about money, ever. And if I talk about money, y'all hear me say little things like, oh, they didn't pay me, or I didn't get paid, I'm pretty much just making fun of them because for so long they have taken advantage of us not knowing, and over time, they've shown the same pattern. And, when people get comfortable, they get sloppy. And systematically, I feel like people have gotten sloppy by how they treat us because they're so used to doing it and used to getting away with it that they don't feel like we're not going to do nothing about it as hourly associates. So it was never about money. It was about creating opportunity for people coming from behind me. Because had I took money, they would have never given black people team lead positions in the workplace. It would have never been no 20% increase in black team members or black leadership. Like, it would have never been that had I taken money. Had I taken money, they would have never spent over $2 billion investing into 500 black-owned companies had I took money, because it would have been cheaper to pay me and keep my mouth closed. I promise you. That's why the APBP lost his job, because he didn't make a great business decision for the corporation. They spent over $2 billion when they could have spent a lot less paying me out, right? So I just want to make that clear that this was never about money to begin with. Seeing what I've seen and experiencing the things that I've experienced through my career in AP, oh no, I'm all about the people. Anybody that's ever worked on my team, worked with me, knows that. It's always been about the people. You can come after me all you want, but when you touch or you mess with somebody that I rock with, somebody that I love, that's where I draw the line. And so when I see people that I vibe with in the workplace being treated unfairly because a specific manager does not like them, it doesn't make me feel good. And there's been times where I've been in, this AP position, and I've seen managers do dirty things to employees simply because they do not like them. And they don't like them for no reason at all. They just don't like them. And it could be because they're a better associate than they are a manager. Corporations wake up and realize that it's about the people, then I feel like that's when they will be more successful than they already are. You feel me? But when they continue to take advantage of their workhorses, when they continue to keep people from leadership roles because they're jealous, they're envious, they're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to get anywhere. And so seeing all these things over time and experiencing a hostile and toxic work environment has led me to, just checking out. And so I said, you know what, before I'll leave this AP thing for good, I'm going to make it easier for the people that's coming from behind me. So I need everybody to know that when it comes to Target, that it doesn't surprise me that they're pulling out of DEI programs. It doesn't surprise me that they're saying that they don't need our dollars. It doesn't surprise me that they don't have a problem in not supporting us. That this has always been their identity. Growing up, when I went inside of a Target, I have never experienced diversity. When I went inside a Target growing up, I remember security because they were always making their presence be felt everywhere I went. You feel me? That's what I do remember. I remember back in 2012 when I first started working for Target on the remodel crew that they stuck me and the Mexican homie in the freezer for a whole week. You feel me? I remember times like that. So it doesn't surprise me that Target is on whatever they own right now. But this is exactly why I went into the workplace and did what I had to do for my people to get better leadership roles and better opportunities in the workplace, because they were never going to just take the initiative and give us anything. They had to be pressed into doing so. And so for those that work for this brand, it was never about money. I wanted them to think that it was about money, but it was never about that, because had I took any type of money, I wouldn't be able to come up on here and talk about them the way that I'm talking about them. Had I taken any hush money. No, when I got the vision, I didn't see any legal justice and none of this. I didn't see none of that. God didn't show me the ending. He just showed me the vision, what it would do, and I went through the process and I put everything on the line for this. Like I said, I went into it already checked out, so at this point, I'm going to risk any and everything for this to happen. Any and everything for this to happen, which means I was putting everything on the line for this at a time where we was going into COVID, everybody's losing their job, the world is being locked down. Still didn't care. There was nothing you can tell me that was going to change my mind from what God showed me and told me what I needed to do. So on top of all that, I put everything on the line. My livelihood, I put my job on the line, my career on the line, everything on the line for this. Everything. And God knows I put every little bit of energy I had into this, man. For real. There was times where, boy, it was hard, especially through COVID. Hard not having no money. You know what I'm saying? Being unemployed, trying to get by, fighting them on the legal, fighting them legally. It was stressful, especially trying to take care of the household, things going on inside of the household at that time. It was rough. Your enemy was working on your boy, but I had to keep focused. You feel me? Cause I ain't never known God to be a liar. You feel me? So if he told me to do something, I'm gonna do it. So I put everything on the line for this, man, for real. And I'm glad I did. I'd do it all over again. Except this time I do it a whole lot better. You feel me? If I know what I know now, but I don't regret anything that happened at Target. You feel me? Because like I said, I went into this with the mindset of this is going to help people coming from behind me. And it did. That's what's so crazy about it, is that it did. Like, it's crazy because when I really think about this, God gave me a vision, right? To go into the workplace and do this. And, this was going to be the outcome. The outcome is going to help people coming from behind me. That's it. You feel me? And then to get to the end of that legally, right? And be like, okay, well, I didn't have a lawyer. I couldn't sue him, because that's the way that I was thinking about it. That's the way that I thought victory was going to be. I take him to court legally. I sue him, and that was my victory. But God was like, no, he had something else lined up. You feel me? So I lost that. And for a split second, the enemy had me thinking that I lost, because legally I lost, right? And so, and the world, they've brainwashed me to kind of think that's what victory is legally getting a victory. But when God has his hands on this thing, bruh, I'm telling you, that thing gonna come out way better than it would have came out if I would have won in court. And it did. So one day, after all of that was over, right? The case was closed pretty much. I was in the room, I was watching TV, and just something told me to check up on Target, right? Like my gut, something in my spirit was like, man, get on the internet, see what Target got going on. And so I get on the website, I get on Google or whatever, and I type in Target. First thing that popped up was Target was spending over, the initial statement was Target is spending $2.6 billion into 500 black-owned companies, man. That's the day that God revealed to me that I got the victory. You feel me? That was victory. You know, all the glory goes to God. I'm just the vessel he used to do it. But man, when I tell you that is the best victory you can get, $2.6 billion being spent into 500 black-owned companies, it can't get better than that, man. It can't get better than that. As an APS, an hourly associate made this all happen. One man with God. They tried to make me feel like because I didn't have money to get a lawyer that I lost mentally. That's what they were trying to tell me. People, policemen, anybody that worked in that field was telling me that I lost. But my spirit was telling me that I didn't lose nothing. My gut was telling me that they was lying. You feel me? That was the enemy working through them, trying to discourage me, trying to bring me down, bruh. When I tell y'all that is the best victory, that is the best type of apprehension an APS can have, that is the best feeling in the world. Let me tell you what the best feeling in the world is. To go into a Target today and see black team members working. Not just outside, not just in the back room, not just in the freezer, but on the sales floor. Let me tell you what feels good as an APS is seeing black team leaders. Black team leaders. Let me tell you what else feels good is when you get black men asking you for advice because they're about to get APS positions at Target. That is the best feeling in the world. Money can't buy that. I don't care if you're a billionaire. $1 billion couldn't buy you that. There ain't no settlement in the world that will make me feel better than how I feel when I walk into any of these Targets in here and see black team members and see black team leaders. My God, that's a victory. That is a victory. That is God showing me he got everything under control, man. He got everything in control. You hear me? I'm just the vessel he used to do it. And let me tell you, man, I'll do it all over again. All over again. If it meant more people was going to get better opportunities, better leadership roles in the workplace. Because had it not been for me filing that EEOC claim against them, they would have never invested $2 billion into 500 black-owned companies. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the CEO say. That would have never happened. Think about how they doing this now, right now. Think about how they talking about us now. Do you really think that they did this out of initiative? I keep trying to tell people they not who they say they are. They liars. They lie. They lie. And what's funny about this whole thing, y'all, is that they spent over $2 billion over a lie. But it backfired because it just helped people that look like me get better leadership roles in the workplace. Now, with that being said, it ain't gonna be easy in the workplace, especially with everything that's going on right now. they are going to be trying to retaliate. No, they are going to be retaliating. If you're not meeting certain standards and expectations, you're not meeting deadlines, they coming to demote you. They coming to fire you for any little reason at all. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's all pretext. They don't want you in leadership positions. They don't want you in any type of leadership. Nothing. Let me tell you how I know. There was one point in time in my career as an unloader where I had expressed to management that I wanted to become a manager. And right after I told them that, that's when I noticed a lot of the nitpicking started to happen. Them trying to write me up and put me on D-days, and then eventually firing me at the end of it all. It was just so that I couldn't be a member of management. And so systemic racism has always played a factor in why we can't do better in the workplace, because we are intentionally held back because of how we look, not simply because we don't have good work ethic, because simply we are not liked. And that's where I draw the line. It's okay for you not to like me, you know what I mean? But when you prevent me from making more money, gaining leadership opportunities that I know I've worked my butt off for, that's where I draw the line. And that's where I'm coming. I wish I had the text message that I sent to my ABBP at the time, because I told him that I was coming for everyone. I specifically told him that. And now, using my manipulation tactics, I made it seem as if, well, he probably took it as if I was physically coming after everyone, right? But he didn't know that I meant that systemically, like I'm coming for everybody. And that's exactly what I did, starting with him. Took his job. The one who stressed and told us that we need to be making good business decisions, but when it came down to it, I mean, he didn't make one. But, you know, you got to take the bad with the good, because like they say, the devil meant it for bad, but God will flip that thing and turn it into your favor. You hear me? And this is exactly how God did it for me, man. For real. So I don't care about no settlement. When I walk into these Targets and I see people that look like me working at a register, working on the sales floor, working as team leaders, that's a victory. That's a victory to me. You feel me? So when it come down to it, y'all, like, it gets deeper, but to just start this whole thing off, man, I need y'all to understand the vision, that this was the vision right here that God gave to me. I could stay comfortable in my position that I'm in, be the greatest AP of all time, live in my house, had a female, had a dog, and live comfortably. Or I take this blue pill and I can make it easier for people coming from behind me. And that was no brainer for me. I went with and took that blue pill, you feel me? Let's go. That's the real victory. And when I tell everybody that we have more power, we have way more power than we think we have. Let me tell y'all, as an APS, the things that I've learned being an AP helped me tremendously in making this $2 billion impact. Because I have been on one side of the ball growing up all my life. And then when I got on the other side of the ball and I seen things from a different perspective, I put two and two together and I used everything that I ever learned, experienced, and seen. Everything that the system taught me, everything that AP taught me, I used it. And I made it easier for people coming from behind me. I didn't abuse it. Never did I abuse my authority. Never did I ever lie on anybody and say anybody was stealing anything if they didn't steal anything, just so I could get numbers. You feel me? I did this job with integrity and great passion. You feel me? This is what I do. This is what I does. This is why I'm number one. You feel me? This is why can't nobody do what I do like I do it. You feel me? Because don't nobody want to take the risk. Real talk. So I just need y'all to know, man, when it came down to the vision, this is what I saw, and this is the outcome. And I couldn't have done none of this without God. You feel me? I couldn't have done none of this without God guiding me, giving me the strength, giving me the vision. I'm the vessel he used to do this, man, for real. And I do it all over again. So when it come down to it, to the corporation who spent over $2 billion to try to cover up their lie, it was never about money. Y'all sit they over there laughing. They probably laughing, talking that cash money-ish about how they think they won, but they didn't win nothing. I ain't got $2 billion to invest it, but y'all do. And y'all did. That's a real victory right there. That's a real victory. Because had it been about money, had I got a settlement, like I said, y'all couldn't be on here giving y'all this game, talking to y'all about this. I couldn't be doing none of this. I'd rather it be like this so I can continue to give y'all the game on how I did it and what it looked like. You feel me? But I'm telling y'all, this victory feel good. I walk into a Target right now, and I promise you, when I walk in there, that's why I feel like I own the place, because I do. Because I do. Real talk. When you can make somebody spend over $2 billion into somebody, or anything, trust me, boy, I promise you that strike your ego real quick. Real talk. But hey, y'all, man, I'm about to get up out of here. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and just drop the truth on y'all real quick. We in Black History Month, so I just wanted to go ahead and talk my ish real quick. You feel me? So appreciate y'all so much, man. I want to thank the Eagle family for tapping in, showing y'all support. I want to give a shout out to the APAs out there. Happy hunting, stand your ground, watch your surroundings, be alert at all times. It's your boy Eagle Eye Miller. Till next time, raw and unscripted.